I have right here reTerminal from Seeed Studio. This is an e-ink display with a touchscreen that can be used with Home Assistant, but you can also use it without Home Assistant just as a display for other purposes. It can work with SenseCraft Seeedash. This is the default solution for this device. It is a no-code UI design platform with built-in templates that you can easily install on it. But if you prefer, you can install ESPHome, you can install code from Arduino, and it is also compatible with TRMNL. There are so many solutions because inside there is an ESP32 and there are a few different models available. This is a 10-inch model. There are also smaller models available, and there is also a color option available. Some functions may differ between the models. I will tell you what my model has to offer because this is a very interesting and useful solution. I will use it with Home Assistant, and this device is made by Seeed Studio. Seeed Studio is also the same company that engineered the Home Assistant Green, the official computer for hosting Home Assistant. So this company cares about Home Assistant and makes sure that their product will work with Home Assistant. I will show more details about Home Assistant Green, how to configure it and use it in another video. But if you want to easily host Home Assistant in your smart home, Home Assistant Green is a device created for hosting Home Assistant. So easily out of the box, you can run Home Assistant on it. But in this video, let's unbox this reTerminal and test what functions it offers. Here we have information about SenseCraft, where you can choose pre-built templates, integrate it with different data sources, and easily create interfaces. Here is the main device. Quick start guide. Really quick. USB-C to USB-A cable and a stand with a screwdriver and a screw. And here is the screen. The USB-C cable that we received in the package is for charging this device because it has a built-in battery, and this battery can last up to 6 months. It depends on how you use this display and how often you refresh it, because e-ink only uses energy when it refreshes the screen to change what it is displaying. And you can additionally buy a frame for this display to make it look more like a picture frame, because you can display pictures on it if you want to. It has a built-in slot for a micro SD card up to 32 gigabytes, so we can store images on it. Here we have labeled ports, USB, on-off switch, and a micro SD slot. Here we have a place to hang the display in whatever orientation we want. Here are 4 additional screws for other ways of hanging it. And here is the stand that we can screw onto the bottom if we don't want to hang it, but rather want it to stand on a desk. Here are the control buttons, but this version also has a touch screen, so we can control it by touch. And this version takes only 3 seconds to refresh the screen. Other versions may have different refresh times, and this version is monochrome, but it has 16-level grayscale, so we can have more detail. Not just black and white, but also the grays in between. And let's look at the quick start guide to see what they recommend doing. Here we have the product overview showing what is included in the package. Here we have a QR code with instructions on how to set it up. And here we have the specifications: a 3000 mAh battery, 1400 by 1800 resolution, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, 32 megabytes of flash storage, 8 megabytes of piece RAM, built-in ESP32S3 dimensions, and an operating temperature between 0 and 40 degrees Celsius. So let's turn it on. Let's try to upload some templates from SenseCraft Seeedash, and then I will connect it to my Home Assistant, and I will try to display some information, but also control my smart home using this display because of this touch screen. So let's try it to see how easy it will be to configure. Let's turn on this power switch. And here we have a tutorial on how to connect it to our Wi-Fi. So let's connect it. Here we have a pairing code. This pairing code is for the default software installed on this device, but it doesn't mean you have to connect this device to a cloud. You can install your own software on it, like ESPHome or anything else you want. So this is an optional function. It doesn't need the cloud to work. You can do whatever you want with this device offline. But I want to show you what it can offer, so I will pair it to test this SenseCraft Seeedash to see what it can offer. But this is optional. You don't have to do it. It restarted, and as you could hear, it also has a built-in speaker. And now on the website, I can see that it has 63% battery. So let's try to upload a template to it. I could create my own dashboard, but for the purpose of this video, let's use a ready-made template because I'll create my own dashboard when I connect it to Home Assistant. So I don't want to spend too much time on this temporary dashboard. I found a lucky card with a flip clock, so let's try to use that. This is a simple clock without an API, so it will be easy to demonstrate. Let's add it to my page. Let's add it. Let's apply it. It will be easier to adjust it on the laptop. You can do it on a mobile phone, but it will be easier on a bigger screen, so I'll quickly adjust it. And I've easily combined the ready-made template with a clock with my own text that I added below, so it's quite an easy no-code UI for creating your own dashboards or using ready-made templates. But now let's try to connect it with Home Assistant. Let's open the wiki that is in the quick start. Here you have information that ESPHome is not yet supported, but it will be supported in a future release. And just a few days later, this device is already supported by ESPHome. I told you that they care about it, so they made it supported quite fast. In the meantime, I was playing with the test software that is available on the firmware hub. Right here you have different platforms. For example, if we look at the Arduino setup, I can easily select my specific model from the list. And right now, I have successfully installed the Touch Draw application. This means that whenever I touch the screen, it immediately registers the input and shows a clear dot right in the exact place where I am touching it. It is quite responsive and works exactly as intended. But also really easily, I could test other software available. For example, I could select the temperature and I can connect to this device via the USB-C cable. I don't have to install any software. I am installing it using the browser, and this software doesn't show anything on the screen, but here we can see the temperature and humidity. It is reading it from the device and displaying it right here. There are many software options to play with, but the thing that interests us the most right now is Home Assistant. So let's install ESPHome on this device. I can go back, and now instead of Arduino, let's select ESPHome. And now you can see that my device is supported, and also on the wiki here we can see right now it is supported. 2 days ago it was not supported, but now it is supported. So let's install it. Here we have a template to set up. We can select what options we want, and we can write the Wi-Fi and password right here, and here we have a ready script for ESPHome. We can customize it to work the way we want, but let's first try this default script to see how it works, and I will use the ESPHome builder on Home Assistant. Right now, I will use a pre-configured Home Assistant, but in another video, I will show you how to configure Home Assistant from scratch using this Home Assistant green, and then I will show you how to configure everything and how to install the ESPHome builder. This video is focused on the reTerminal, so those technical details will be in the video about Home Assistant, not about the reTerminal. So let's add a new device. Let's create an empty configuration. Let's name it reTerminal. Let's copy this default configuration. Let's paste it right here. Now let's open the secrets, and I will enter the 4 pieces of information that are needed: the Wi-Fi name, Wi-Fi password, OTA password, and API key. Let's save it. And let's add those secrets. Let's save it, and let's go back. Now we don't have the errors that the secrets are not set. And let's install it on the device. It is plugged in using USB, and now I am installing the default template. And after that, if it works, I will personalize it to show the information that I am interested in. And the first time with ESPHome, we have to install it using the cable, but later we can use over the air to send updates via Wi-Fi. So in the future, if you want to make changes to your display, you won't have to connect it to your laptop again. You can send the update via Wi-Fi. Here you have information that it couldn't upload the software using the USB because there is no HTTPS connection right now between my laptop and Home Assistant. So I could connect this device directly to the server, or I could build it locally on my laptop, or I can connect using HTTPS to Home Assistant. I will use the secure connection with my server, and I've used Tailscale to make the secure connection. And now with HTTPS using Tailscale, let's install it connected to this computer. And it restarted, and here we have the default dashboard. And on the default dashboard, we have the temperature, humidity, battery, SD card not detected, and microphone enabled. Here we have the buttons, and on top we have the date. So now let's try to customize it to show some useful information from Home Assistant on this screen. And let's also try to use the touch screen to control my smart home. Using AI, I modified this default script, and let's try to install it on the device. Now I can use Wi-Fi to upload the new software wirelessly, but I can also use the USB because it is still plugged in. And here's the beep indicating it restarted after uploading the new software, and Home Assistant has detected a new device. So let's add it. And let's add additional permissions to my device to control devices in my home. And right now my simple control panel is ready. I've set it to refresh every 30 seconds, and as an example, it is showing me my photovoltaic power, energy storage, battery percentage, grid, export, and voltage on 3 phases. And to test the touchscreen, I have 2 buttons right here to control the lights in my room. So let's try to turn off the lights on my ceiling. They are turned off. And as you can see, the delay is really small because it is not using any cloud. Everything is working locally, so it is really fast. I can turn off other lights to show you better that this is indeed working. Now let's turn off both of them. Let's turn one on. The delay is because the lights need their power supply to turn on, so they need a few milliseconds to turn on. But it is really fast because it is working fully locally without any cloud. So this display works with Home Assistant, and it is quite easy to use, and you can customize it however you want. With AI, it is really simple because you can upload the template and tell it what changes you want, what information it should display, and what buttons you want on the screen. And AI can really easily and quickly create new code for you to upload to this device. As you can see, you can both display information and control your smart home. Because of the touch screen, you can add buttons to control everything. You can adjust the refresh rate depending on how often you need your information to be updated. If you are using it on battery power, the faster you refresh it, the faster you will drain the battery. But you can use it connected to USB, or you can set it to refresh only every few minutes to save battery. Or you can also set it to refresh only manually. Depending on your situation, you can customize it to work the way you need it to. So it's a perfect device for controlling your smart home offline, and it's fully customizable. You can upload any software you want onto this device. You are independent from everyone and every cloud, every service. It works completely offline, exactly the way you want it to. And it even has many built-in sensors like temperature, humidity, and a microphone. You could use the microphone to control your smart home. It has this buzzer. It has lights on the back. So many options to control your smart home with this display. And not only because you can upload ready-made templates that don't work with Home Assistant, but it works with any other app that you want. So you can display any information on this device. And you could also use it as a photo frame. So it's a very universal display that everyone can find a use for. So it's worth having at home, and check the description for details. And if you don't already have Home Assistant at home, in another video on my channel, you can find information on how to configure Home Assistant using the Home Assistant screen, so you can have your own smart home that works offline, fully locally, fully safely, and can be connected with this display. And that's all for today. Like, subscribe, and be nice.